What's up everybody, Greg here with Lensprotogo and Lens Rentals, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the sixth and final lens in the Tokina Vista Cinema Prime set, the 105mm. We're going to be looking at a few tests from flaring, breathing, bokeh, edge distortion, and sharpness, as well as close focus. If you want to check out any of the other lenses, any of the other tests, they're going to be linked to in the description down below, as well as a things to know video talking about some of the physical characteristics and how these lenses actually feel when you're using them. So without further ado, let's jump into the test looking at the 105mm. So the first thing that we're going to look at is our breathing test, going from close focus to infinity. So racking to that close focus first. And then what we're going to look for is, as we go to infinity, is there any zooming in and out on the edges as we go through that focus range? And there really isn't with this entire set, as I've talked about with a lot of the other lenses. There's very, very minimal breathing on this. And then we're just going to go back to our subject's focus, which is about 10.5 feet. Next up, we're going to look at bokeh, going from T1.5 all the way down to T22, and just through that full range. When you open up wide on these lenses to a T1.5, you start to see some rings inside of the bokeh themselves, and they also have some points on the top and bottom of the bokeh. It's not as circular as some of the other ones that we've seen. Now going through the aperture range, we're going to start at a T22. We're going to go to a T16, down to a T11, T8, T5.6, T4, T2.8, T2, and a T1.5. Now we're going to look at our edge distortion and sharpness. Again, we're wide open on this lens, and we're just going to pan from side to side. Similar to the 85mm, there's very minimal distortion, almost none at all. You have quite a bit of compression with the 105mm, and that sharpness stays across the entire frame. Now we're going to look at our flaring. So starting off with a light that's pretty dimmed down and then just bumping it up a little bit. You're not really seeing anything except for a little bit of a haze around the light. And then as we bump it up to that full power, we're seeing some orbs here and there and maybe a couple rings from some of the elements, but there really isn't a lot of flaring with the 105mm until you start to get really close. And then the last thing that we're going to look at is our close focus, again wide open at T1.5 at 3 feet 9 inches, and we're getting a pretty good scale, but we're not getting as zoomed in as we did with the 50mm. So that's going to wrap it up for the sixth and final lens in the Tokina Vista Cinema Prime set, the 105mm. If you guys have any questions about this lens or the tests that we ran, make sure to let me know in the comments, along with any other lenses you'd like to see me do in the future. If you want to try this lens out for yourself, there's going to be links in the description below, along with all of the other lens tests for the rest in the set. If you want to see more tests just like this one, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for new videos every single week, and I'll see you in the next one.